Good morning, America. My name is Danny. I'm a 49-year-old American. This is my show, Danny's Pit. It's not for children, so if you're under the age of 18, it is not for you. If you're catching this on shorts, I get a lot of people complaining that I don't do much on the short. The YouTube short is to give you an idea, I think, of what the pit will be about. And if you want to watch the pit, then you go watch the whole pit. So I'm sorry if my intro is a little long for you guys, but if you want to see the whole show, I strongly advise you to come watch the whole show, especially if you enjoyed the intro. But anyway, I'll just go jump into it. Topic of today's pit will be Prop.1 passes. Okay, here in California where I live, we had a behavioral health bill on the ballot, and I voted no. I always vote no on these things because the last thing we need is another proposition, another amendment, another law, and the Democrats love to do all this stuff, but it's the last thing we need. So it's going to cost the taxpayer $6.3 billion to do this. Now here's the beautiful part. It's going to allow for 11,000 beds to be made available for in-treatment. It's going to allow for 27,000 people to receive outpatient treatment. They reported this back in, I think, December, like it was winning 60-40 or something like that. In reality, it won. Yes votes were 50.2%. No votes were 49.8%. So it gets down to that thing where you start saying, my vote don't count. Every vote counted, and this thing passed. And it's a sugar honey iced tea bill, basically. I have extensive, experience in this field. When I got released from prison, when I paroled, I decided to go to a program. Not that I needed to go to a program. I just wanted to do everything I could to make sure that I kept my life on track so I never went back to prison. See, it worked with me. The recidivism rate is low with guys like me who want to keep going and never go back. There's a lot of guys, the recidivism rate is so high because I had one cellmate tell me basically that when he was in jail, that's when he was working, and when he was free, that's when he was on vacation. And it would, he never checked in with the POs, and he just did whatever he wanted to do. And that brings me to this. This is a great bill, and it sounds all good and everything. Oh, look, that's great. The reality is mostly a scam. I spent 3 months. I wouldn't name the place by name, but some of the administration is so petty that they might even, they would consider probably coming after me. But I will say it was in Bakersfield. Let's just put it to you that way. I paroled to a program in Bakersfield. It was a 90-day inpatient program. I paroled in July. No, I'm sorry. I paroled in April. I got out in July. But it was a hot summer. When I got there, it was already hitting 100 degrees in the middle of the day in Bakersfield in April 15th. Anyways, 17th. I got there, and the place was a crap hole. One of the bathrooms looked like, if you went up one of the upstairs bathrooms, if you took one more shower, you just felt like for sure the floor was going to fall out. The AC was busted. It wasn't working. And we were told, we don't have to provide you with AC. We only have to provide with heat. So, keep your complaints to yourself. And after 4 o'clock dinner time, there was no ice. That might sound like nothing. Like, what do you mean, no ice? Like to you guys. Okay, there's no ice in prison either unless you work in the kitchen and you can get some ice and bring it back to your friends. But most of the stuff you drink in prison is room temperature at best. Okay, there was no ice. The one water jug for like 50 guys living in this place, and when it ran out at like 6 in the afternoon when the cook left, we didn't get a fresh bottle of water. One of the guys went and filled it with the hose, and then it had that nasty ass hose taste to it. And here's the real kicker. It's a 3-month program I signed up for. It's 1 month worth of material though. I noticed it on my second month when it started to repeat. And then I asked a guy that was about my age and we had about the same experience in prison. I said, what's going on here? And he's the one that let me know this is actually a 1 month program. But we just teach it 3 times. So hopefully, they're trying to do the whole maybe you'll get more from it the more you learn it. You ain't going to get anything from it if you don't want to learn from it. And the other thing is too, there are some people that have made a career out of this. Here's what they do: they get out on probation, they get this program, they stay clean for that 90 days, they work out, they get healthy, then they move on to sober living, where they're allowed to stay for free as long as they're clean, and then they go get jobs or whatever. That usually in Bakersfield, it was the oil fields, and then right about the time that their funding's going to run out, right about the time they're about to get off probation or parole, they'll violate, so they can come back and start the whole thing over again and buy themselves 9 more months of housing, food, shelter, and everything else. They have found a way to make this a career. And I'm sure well-meaning Californians that voted for this don't know this. This is stuff that people don't know unless you've been there. Another thing it said was it's to make rooms for the overcrowded jails and prisons in California. We hear this all the time. Far as I know, in the last 6 months, they've shut down the yard I was on when I was at one of these prisons. That yard's no longer, it's not even open no more. They just store stuff there. And they shut down a couple of yards in Corcoran and moved the prisoners to Delano, Lancaster, down south, a few up north. My buddy got moved over. He was settled nice and fine in Corcoran. 2 weeks later, they're closing the yard. Now he's in Delano. You learn in prison, don't get comfortable. They move you fast. But anyways, so that's the end of the pit, basically. These things, you guys, when you see these bills, just remember one thing, especially the Democratic Party. They do not have your best interests in mind. They have what's in your wallet in mind. What can they get from this? How can they profit from this, prosper from this? And it's a scam because it leads a lot of people to thinking, if I go to this thing, you get there, and I saw a lot of guys just use and get kicked out. When I first got there, the guy that toured me around was drunk off his ass. Then he tells me, if I intimidate you, do I don't want to? I'm like, dude, just get out of my face, man. But anyways, think hard before you vote. November's coming, and there'll be other things too. Keep your eye out for stuff like this. This is that pork belly spending that they always talk about. Hang on a second, please. This is that drain the swamp stuff. We did not need this bill. That 27,000 people that for outpatient money that's allocated, how many are going to come get the drugs? Most of them are homeless because they want to be homeless. They're either mentally ill or they're drug addicts, and the drug addicts want to be on the streets doing drugs. Nobody's going to use this. Maybe 5 people might, and some people might say, well, that 5 people is worth it, and I'm one of them. If one person gets sober off this, that's beautiful. Getting sober is great. Best thing that ever happened to me, but it's not the way it runs on the streets. And a lot of these places are run like jails and prisons. They get the tough guys run the show, tax you, all that stuff. It's not what they project it to be. So think hard before you vote on bills and propositions like this, because a lot of it's just a money grab. I mean, $6.3 billion for like 30,000 beds. That don't even make sense. So that's the end of the pit. Stay vigilant, America. Keep looking forward once in a while. Look behind you and read everything when you vote. Okay, and don't just vote because that sounds like it'll be a good idea. Take it from someone who's been there. It don't work that way. The only people in there that have gotten help and that have stayed sober that I stay in touch with, out of the class of 20, there's only 2. Okay, that I actually believe are still sober. So God bless each and every one of you. Stay safe. God bless these wonderful and beautiful United States of America that we're lucky as hell to be living in, even in these times. And everything is A-okay. Thank you guys. Pit members, you rock. And stay to the end, you really rock. And appreciate it. And I'll catch you on the next pit if YouTube allows me to come back. Till then, peace out.